Understanding financial statements for beginners is a top YouTube search. It's also a common question asked by many small business owners. I don't even understand financial statements. In fact, most business owners, and you might be one of these small business owners, they often say or do use their bank statements to gauge the health of their company. If they have money in the bank, they have enough to make payroll, pay their bills, and we'll worry about the rest next week. And one of the things I ask business owners often, I'm like, what keeps you from understanding financial statements? What keeps you from using those? And common answers are, I don't understand them. Another common answer that's kind of scary is, I'm scared to look at them. In fact, if you kind of think about your personal budget, many times most people in their home budget, they won't do a budget because they're afraid to look at the results. They're afraid to see that they're losing money or that they're spending too much money on this and that, and they don't have bills, and that's why they're not making ends meet. They would rather just not know the final answer. And for me, I would rather have the information available and be able to utilize it and capture it and make some changes along the way. So I'm going to talk about understanding financial statements for beginners. And then if you want to deep dive, which I encourage you to, most business owners, after I explain this to them, they do deep dive and they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. The first thing about understanding financial statements is for most small business owners, we use three. The common three that we use in business are the statement of cash flows, the income statement, which most people recognize as the P&L, profit and loss. And then we have a third one, which is the balance sheet. So typically those three are the only three that you really need to be concerned about. Now, I also find that small business owners get a little intimidated by that because they're like, I don't know how to compile those. I don't know how to put them together. We don't do that. A small business owner, a sound small business owner, should have a qualified cost accountant that prepares those for us. All we're using the financial statements for is to read and strategize, make strategic decisions in our business so that we know kind of what the runway is, how much cash do we have to last, how to make decisions on commissions. Can we afford this? Can we afford that? What if we postpone this, depreciate that? I mean, there's lots of decisions, and those are probably intimidating sounding already. But we don't want to go there yet. We just want to understand what are the three financial statements that we use and what do they do? And then we'll provide some other videos that kind of go deep dive into each one of those in later videos. So let's start with the profit and loss, the income statement, because that's what most small business owners understand or they've heard of. And most people just look at the bottom line, and that's great. That the income statement tells us how much money we made. Okay, so that's it. That's really, they look at the bottom line and if there's a profit or loss to see how much money we made. FYI, that's not really accurate, but we'll talk about that later. The second thing is statement of cash flows. This statement of cash flows tells us where our cash went. And it's not like looking at your bank account saying, so-and-so went to our cable bill, X went to our mobile phones, X went to utilities. It goes deep dive, goes more into in depth than that. But let's just say for now, for beginners, let's just say our statement of cash flows shows us where our cash flows in a reporting period so that we can compare. The third one is our balance sheet. The balance sheet talks about what we own. It shows us what we owe, and then it shows us what's left over. And at the bottom of that, it should all equal out. So the assets minus what we owe, minus what's distributed, what's left over to shareholders, and et cetera, et cetera. Let's not go too deep. And then those should balance out the bottom because everything that comes in must go out. So if you just understand these three things, the three financial statements you need to understand and start looking for is your income statement, your statement of cash flows, and your balance sheet. Remember that the P&L is to show how much money we've made or lost. The statement of cash flows is to show where our cash went. And then our balance sheet is to show what we own, what we owe, and then what's left over, what's distributed for profits, etc. So those are the three things that I encourage you to explore. Once small business owners that we work with, once they understand the purpose of each of these, it kind of they go explore, like go print one out. Go print these out. QuickBooks provides these for you. Most small business owners that I know at least use QuickBooks. If you're not using QuickBooks, I encourage you to get started with that. I also encourage you, if you're not using an accountant, and a cost accountant to be specific, if you're not using that, go find one. Because we can't make sound decisions on our business without the financial statements, but even more so, we can't make sound financial decisions without accurate financials. So if you've enjoyed this video, I encourage you, please help us get the message out and help small business owners around the world. Push that subscribe button for us. And if you would like a personal consultation with me, go to businessownershipsimplified.com. In the right-hand top corner, there's a button you can click. It will take you to my personal calendar. We can get 30 minutes on the phone. I would love to talk to you and deep dive more into financial statements or any other problem that you might be having in your business. We will see you next time.